Hello, my friends. I sincerely hope that you are doing well. I would like to talk to you today about courage, specifically how we channel courage. This is something that we all struggle with at times, some more so than others. Previously, I explained what courage is. And again, it simply means to be afraid and to act anyway. This is not to be confused with being fearless. Fear is natural. We all experience fear. Courage is facing or dealing with that fear to do what's necessary at the time. This conversation is not about the state of fearlessness that seems to thrive or dominate our society, but this is about the small but very significant acts of bravery that get us through our days, keeps us content, and makes the life we live wonderful. So today, we take a closer look into ourselves to define what we do when faced with those moments. First, I would like for you to categorize this thing called courage. I'd like for you to categorize it in the same manner you would categorize a muscle. If you go to the gym and do exercises with your legs, what happens? Your legs get stronger. Courage can work in the same manner. If you practice and exercise with it, it gets bigger and stronger. Make it a habit to begin to demonstrate courage and conviction. Start with the small and consequential things, and you will move on from there. When you open yourself up to be vulnerable to fear, and you accept those vulnerabilities, it conditions you on how to model courage. Consistently, in our everyday lives, we find things or situations that we fear. Sometimes it's an active fear. Other times it's a passive fear. Nonetheless, we're faced with the dilemma of how to move forward or how to make things normal again. Begin by thinking of the things that are important to you. Think of the things that you hold dear each and every day. There are some things that frighten all of us equivocally. Things like the fear of rejection, the fear of death, or maybe the fear of losing those close to us. We all face moments of fear and where we have to rely on inner strength to rush headfirst into the unknown. With only ourselves to trust and depend on, it's something we've become acclimated to do. But as I mentioned earlier, this is an exercise, and the more we practice, the more courageous we become. The first exercise is to find others that have modeled the courage and actions that you would like to take. People that you admire and you would want to emulate. Take note of their decision-making processes. Decipher what makes them do the things they do. Society has come to expect courage and bravery from these people, and society will come to expect courage from you. Sometimes fighting for and being courageous for causes that are not ours allow us to exercise power over our trepidations. Courage can come easy when we begin to defend that which we see as being moral or what for us proves to be virtuous. Anxiety or fear of the unknown can prevent us from channeling and demonstrating courage. As for most of us, we often fear what we do not know. Impending harm or uncertainty or things we may believe to be threats often magnify the feelings of tension or the sense of apprehension. This causes us to freeze and not act. So how do you display courage or overcome that fear? Well, we learn to embrace these unconscious impulses and triggers. This will allow you to disassociate the cycle of feelings or anxiety, which gives you the courage to break the avoidant behaviors. Strip away the layers of fear to understand why these apprehensions occur. Are they precursors reminiscent of the past, the present, or the future? At times, we may be forced to be courageous in the face of sickness and threats to our health. These can be some of the most terrifying feelings that we've ever had to deal with. It's important to remember that there is no correct way to respond to this type of threat. We're all different, and we will handle these things differently. So take time to process how you feel before tackling the problem head on. Courage is best displayed by allowing yourself to feel in the moment. Try not to avoid experiencing your emotions as they exist, whether you try to avoid them or not. Reaching out for help does not imply cowardice. It means you understand courage can be found in numbers. Unfortunately, there are times we look around and find people who have no place in our lives. Inherently, there is a survival technique or an intuition we have that signals us to proceed or not to proceed when we meet people. For whatever reason, we ignore this intuition at times and we proceed to allow this person into our lives and the lives of those around us, only to realize that they pose a threat, not only to you, but to those that you hold dearly. This lack of reasoning is nothing to be ashamed of, as we all aspire to receive the love and affirmation of others. However, when it becomes clear that the threats of violence, the fear, the stress, and apprehension begin dominating the means of companionship, you must act. Living with domestic or familial violence can create an environment steeped in anxiety, depression, emotional distress, in addition to the risk of physical harm to you and to those around you. Mindfulness of our spirit and who we are allows us to face life's difficulties, face life's dangers, and face life's pains without fear of consequence. As a child, it took courage when you had to confess to who broke the neighbor's window. Or as a teen, when you first became keenly aware of feelings of love or infatuation, and admitting those feelings to that person. As an adult, channeling courage is a daily task. Protecting yourself, your family, what you feel to be morally correct, and preparing for things in the future that we cannot see. You must learn to exercise the muscles of courage. And here are 5 ways to exercise and channel that courage. First, learn that it's okay to say no. You've always put everyone else's needs ahead of your own. Alleviate the obligation to always say yes. This will make you feel better and less stressed. Second, stop holding things in. Say or ask for what you want. For all the thoughts in the deepest recesses of your mind, feel free to voice them. Third, embrace the emotions that frighten us. Saying you love someone can frighten you. Forgiving someone can frighten you. Being angry can frighten you. Refusing to acknowledge these emotions will only lead to a blow up in the future. Fourth, the Holy Grail. Exercise the courage to let go. We tend to hold on to the things that hurt us. By letting go, you take back control of your life. And this is including the small things in our everyday life. Fifth, and finally, garner an understanding of what's important to you. What defines you and your legacy. Give up the reins that have held you in bondage to your inhibitions and make courage an exercise that you begin to practice daily. You should begin to see your stress as well as your anxiety levels start to ebb, and your confidence should begin to blossom and to grow. Remember, it's a never-ending process, but one that you get better at when you begin to channel your courage.